It's been almost a year. Yeah, that's how long it's been since Tiffany Teflon Tahoe, the city girl mayor of Dalton, provided financials to village trustees and the residents. She's been spending more money, misappropriating funds, and hiding finances. Now, the last time she provided financial statements, that was back in September 2023. At that time, Dalton had a deficit of nearly $7 million after all the lavish spending by their ghetto fabulous mayor. Now, it's almost a year later, and there's no telling right now how bad the finances are. While the FBI is investigating and reviewing evidence, the taxpayers are still funding this lavish spending spree, and they are growing tired of it.
Clear the room! Clear the room! Clear the room, guys! This means adjourn. Everybody out.
So 2 hours of absolute contention here. Lots of residents voicing their concerns. Earlier today, Mayor Henyard had the block in front of Village Hall cordoned off, making it very difficult for folks to get here, especially if you were senior or disabled.
Take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. Last week, Tiffany Tahoe was catching fire in Thornton Township, her other job where she's supervisor of 17 cities, villages, and towns, including Dalton, where she's supervising herself with this double-dipping role. Both jobs paying her about $300,000 per year, and she's so greedy, she's still stealing millions from the township and the village. There was a Thornton Township meeting scheduled where she and the Thornton trustees were set to approve the new budget. A lot of drama there too. A lot of folks showed up for that meeting, but she sabotaged the meeting and canceled it at the last minute. One thing to note, the meeting was supposed to start at 6 p.m. Everybody was sitting there waiting for her, and she didn't show up until an hour later to do this.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you guys for coming out this evening. I am Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, the People Supervisor. I want to thank you for coming out to hear from the department heads, the finance department as relates to the budget. But unfortunately, we will have to postpone our meeting until Friday at 1 p.m.
Wait a damn minute. Wait a damn minute.
So I will see you guys Friday at 1 o'clock. Thank you so much for coming out.
So after she canceled that meeting in Thornton Township, Tiffany Tahoe rescheduled the meeting for Friday in the middle of the afternoon, like around 1 p.m., hoping no one would show up. Well, I guess she thought this was a year ago or something. When Thornton Township was quiet and didn't know much about what was going on. It's definitely a different time, and Thornton Township residents are aware of her shenanigans. So I'm happy to report they showed up anyway.
It's Friday night. Welcome. Good evening. I'm Stephen Holt.
And I'm Allison Rosati. We begin with something unexpected. A rescheduled budget hearing brings lots of fireworks in South Suburban Thornton Township.
Whatever, I do what I want.
I have covered a lot of budget meetings, and this one that just wrapped up a short time ago, anything but boring. There was clapping, shouting, screaming, and then there were police. They were on the ready to escort people out of the meeting.
Read for yourself. Remove her. Remove her. Remove her. Remove her. Now you gotta go.
This budget meeting, anything but typical.
You have been led astray. You have been bamboozled. You have been hooded. People have told you that you have been listening in order to hear it.
Thornton Township residents from several South Suburban communities filled the room, and they had lots to say.
Because what we're not going to do is we're not going to be homeless behind her raising our taxes.
And you said that you have good business skills, then you should take a look at the budget again.
You are a public servant. You serve us.
Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard is also the mayor of Dalton. She is the focus of a wide-ranging FBI investigation. She's also being sued by several Dalton employees, current and former. Residents say there are concerning issues with the township's spending and other areas of township government.
There are so many red flags.
People are just so tired of this whole situation with the not being transparent. And for Dalton, I can speak for Dalton, we don't know what's going on with our money at all.
Henyard makes $224,000 a year in her township supervisor job. In December, the Board of Trustees passed an ordinance that some called outlandish. It states that if Henyard runs for re-election in 2025 and loses, her successor's salary would drop to only $25,000 a year. But a bill passed in Springfield this week would undo that ordinance and make sure a move like this doesn't happen in the future. And that bill did pass in both houses, and right now all it needs is the signature of the governor. And here's
Super Mayor!
That just happened last Friday. Then a couple of days later on Monday, the city girl mayor had to show up to her other job in Dalton as the mayor. She showed up to the meeting where the trustees voted to overrule the mayor's veto that would allow Lori Lightfoot to come in and complete an internal investigation on the mayor. See, a couple of months ago, Dalton trustees voted to bring in Lightfoot. This happened at a meeting that the mayor refused to show up for. Then weeks later at the next board meeting, Mayor Porkchop struck that down. She used veto power to attempt to cut off the investigation into her own corruption. So at this meeting last night, the trustees had to vote to overturn that veto, but the mayor brought in some of her henchmen, these pooky criminals that's always with her, to cause chaos and intimidate residents, gaslighting all of them, and the men and the women of the village, they weren't having it.
Also breaking tonight, one of the most chaotic meetings in Dalton that we've seen yet. Police had to stop it from getting physical.
Let's get right to political reporter Paris Schutz and the showdown between Lori Lightfoot and Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Paris.
Dawn and Scott, that showdown is continuing outside of Dalton Village Hall. Trustees voted 4-2 to override Mayor Henyard's veto and reinstate Mayor Lori Lightfoot's investigation into Henyard's spending into that 2023 trip to Las Vegas. And as you mentioned, soon after that vote, things just broke down into utter chaos. Multiple sides shouting obscenities at each other. Cops had to step in and break it up. This is right after Henyard and her allies tried to block Lightfoot from getting up and making some brief remarks. Eventually, Lightfoot got her mic turned on, and here's a little bit of what she had to say.
Thank you. What I will say is that it's an honor to be working on behalf of the residents of Dalton. We have not arrested one of you.
You was once a mayor too. You should not even be disrespectful like that.
Want to stop us.
That's sad.
Obstruct our ability to get to the facts.
Clear the room. Clear the room. Clear the room, guys. This means adjourn. Everybody out.
So 2 hours of absolute contention here. Lots of residents voicing their concerns. Earlier today, Mayor Henyard had the block in front of Village Hall cordoned off, making it very difficult for folks to get here, especially if you were senior or disabled. So Lightfoot's investigation, at least according to trustees, is back on now. It's going to focus into Henyard's spending of village resources as well as that 2023 trip to Las Vegas. And Henyard doesn't believe the investigation is legal. Now, residents lined up hours before the meeting. They got in, they packed the Village Hall, and they let their feelings about Mayor Henyard be known.
You're not going to understand until they put those cuffs on you. You're not going to understand it. You don't care. But baby, they on to you.
It is a shame that we, the public, can't ask you anything about the BMWs, the Range Rovers, all of that. It's like you're keeping all of that hidden from the taxpayers, and we pay for those.
You guys are following fiction, a made-up story. It is a smear campaign going on right now. People are using...
So as you can see right outside Dalton Village Hall here on MLK Drive in the village of Dalton, residents still fuming, still voicing their concerns to police officers. Police officers had to keep the peace as the meeting erupted into chaos. But the news out of this meeting, trustees vote 4-2 against Mayor Henyard. They reinstate Lightfoot's investigation into things that the FBI is also probing right now. A lot of things happening here in Dalton, and Dawn and Scott will continue to follow it in the days to come, but now we go back to you.
It's still a hot mess in Dalton, all because of this wonderful super mayor, Mayor Porkchop, aka Tiffany Teflon Tahoe. They have these meetings every month, and she's always sabotaging them, coming in there, threatening to cancel the meeting. I mean, you saw how she went crazy because she didn't want Lori Lightfoot to speak. And when she's not sabotaging the meetings and spending up all the money, she's spewing out some baby bop bimbo babble about how everyone is lying on her, while refusing to provide any receipts and financials for the residents. I know one thing, the people of Dalton, they are still suffering while she's paying for her weave, hairstylist, makeup artist, and all these fancy clothes and red bottoms, buying Range Rovers for her mama, buying BMWs for her married Pookie Gangsta-licious boyfriend. It's like a modern day version of Boondocks. And I guess I'm Regina King, narrating this whole cartoon featuring this clown dictator. You know, just waiting on the day for the feds to cancel this show and pick this lady up. Until then, let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Let me know what you think about this below. Special thank you to Rob P. I appreciate you, Rob, for all of your support, as well as Adrian, Edmund, and Dark Power. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.